dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The popular Pig in a Poke restaurant in Prestonsburg suffered extensive damage this morning, the kitchen getting most of the fire damage. WYMT's Dakota Makris tells us how the co-owner plans to move forward.
Just before 7:30 Monday morning, crews were called out to Pig in a Poke after reports of a fire.
We basically just start dissecting it from the visualness of what you have, and then we start removing things and looking at the way that the fire traveled.
The fire began in the kitchen, which crews had under control in about 30 minutes.
Then we done some overhaul just to make sure there was no extensions, which meant, in the walls or into the ceiling or those areas.
No one was inside during the fire, something co-owner Rick Hughes is thankful for.
First thing you think about is your employees. What are you going to do with your employees? How can you help them more than what the building is itself?
The community reaching out to a beloved staple in Prestonsburg.
You wouldn't believe how many texts, Facebook, phone calls I've already received on is there anything we can do? We'll come help you.
But the building holds precious memories.
It was tough. It was tough to swallow to see, what hard work that I know we've put into the building.
Looking at the charred remains, the memories rush back, but already working to build back better than ever. In Floyd County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Fire officials say they do not suspect arson. The restaurant could reopen in 3 to 5 months. 3 Hazard High School employees will have to attend training at their own expense in the wake of that controversial assembly 2 weeks ago. District officials say the principal and 2 staff members have been reprimanded for the man pageant where boys dressed in women's lingerie and appeared to be giving school administrators lap dances. The day we first reported this story, the superintendent, Sandra Combs, said appropriate disciplinary action had been taken but did not say what that was. The Lexington Herald-Leader reports in a letter to Principal Happy Mobilini, who's also Hazard's mayor, and staff members Larry Thacker and Joshua Hurt, the district says they exhibited, quote, poor professional judgment by allowing a student-led skit to reach an inappropriate level, end quote. Superintendent Combs says these actions put the school district in a situation of legal liability and in a poor light as the story gained worldwide attention. Combs goes on to say the unprofessional behavior would not be tolerated as the employees are required to maintain a professional work environment. The reprimands go on to say that any future similar instance could result in more disciplinary action, which includes employees possibly being fired. We are learning more about the rescue of a missing North Carolina teenager. That girl was found after a driver recognized a TikTok hand symbol that was a call for help. The story has gained national attention. 61-year-old James Brick will be back in court tomorrow. He's charged with unlawful imprisonment. Tonight we are hearing the 911 calls from the man who noticed the girl needed help. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has the call.
He was headed south on Interstate 75 and saw a girl in a car's passenger seat make a gesture that he recognized.
I've been following a Toyota Corolla from Madras County, just across to Laurel County, past exit 49. This female on the passenger side, brunette, motioning for help, call 911.
He said he was about to run out of gas, but he stayed with the car for about 8 miles, giving clues to the sheriff's deputies to make a stop. All because he recognized the distress call that originated on TikTok.
Okay, yeah, she was motioning 4 fingers and one, she got 411, so I can see where it's in.
And a few seconds later, police made the critical stop.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, guys.
And the deputies that made the stop, they even said that they were in plain vehicles, and that she was still doing that signal, which they didn't identify what that signal was at the time.
Police are still investigating what happened, but sheriff's detectives did find an inappropriate image of the 16-year-old victim on the suspect's 61-year-old James Brick's phone. He's in jail. The victim is back with her parents, who are from North Carolina.
New York Times WHAS, Washington Post, CNN.
Meanwhile, sheriff's deputies have been busy telling the story to a nationwide audience.
I really think prior to this, there's very few people that knew that TikTok signal, that I'm in distress, I need help.
Sheriff's deputies say this awareness could help other victims held against their will. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The suspect, James Brick, is from North Carolina, but his relatives in Ohio became suspicious when he brought the victim there. He was heading south through Kentucky when the man noticed the girl making the hand gesture. We are learning new information about a police chase that started in Monticello. Police say they were called about two men lying in a field near a Wendy's in Monticello, and they say one of those men jumped in a cruiser and took off. They say the other man, Austin Coffey, was wanted and fought with officers while Chase Jackson stole the cruiser. Police eventually tracked Jackson down at a Shell station in Lexington. They say he was taken into custody but fought with troopers afterwards.
Been another quiet weather day around the mountains today. We've seen plenty of sunshine. Help drive those temperatures up big time as well. I-64 camera at Moorhead showing you, well, we dealt with sunshine just about all day. Now that the sun is down, we're working into the nighttime hours. Thanks to that sun setting earlier here in Standard Time. I-75 at Mount Vernon, things moving smoothly at this hour, continuing to see that sun set. We got up to around 70 today. Our warmer spots got up into the low 70s, 72 into Williamsburg this afternoon, into the mid and upper 60s into the Big Sandy. Some of us still warm right now. Jackson's at 65, but some of us already dropping even into those low 50s. Look at Monticello at 51. Plenty of dry skies around the eastern third of the country. That continues tonight. Low 40s, so cool, but not quite as cold under clear skies tonight. We have big changes, though, on the way for later in the week, and I'll have the details coming up in just a bit. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A grim COVID milestone today as Kentucky surpasses 10,000 COVID deaths. Governor Beshear announced 642 new cases of COVID today, increasing the statewide total to 753,338. There were 26 new deaths, bringing the death toll now to 10,019. The positivity rate is near 5.5%. You can always find the latest COVID information on our website at WYMT.com. Senator Rand Paul was in Hazard this afternoon, and I had the opportunity to ask him about his no vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which passed the House of Representatives Friday night. The infrastructure package, supported by Senator Mitch McConnell, would provide billions for highway and bridge upgrades and millions on public transportation in Kentucky. The senator said he thought the bill was too big and would require borrowing money to pay for it, explaining that the borrowing leads to debt, which can cause inflation.
A lot of this money is going to be borrowed, unfortunately, because they went too big. You know, it's like they went for everything. The kitchen sink is stuck in there. Some good things will get built, but I'm also worried about, how we pay for it.
You can hear much more from Senator Paul on that and many other topics during Issues and Answers tonight at 7 p.m. The city of Pikeville is welcoming a new business to its industrial park, a tenant focused on tanks, and officials are excited about its potential. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about Appalachian Tank, Inc.
A new tank team is coming to town.
Well, it's really nice to close one chapter and open another with some very positive news and what we believe will be a very successful business for the industrial park.
Appalachian Tank Incorporated is making its way to the Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park, taking over the building formerly owned by Silverliner.
And they asked what needed to be done to help him get here because he really liked Pikeville in eastern Kentucky.
Officials say Tony Roberts with Platinum Tank Group out of Canada reached out to the city upon news of Silverliner's bankruptcy, hoping to fit his business into the space already carved out.
So the building is already kind of set up for another tank manufacturer, so it's a good fit for App Tank to be going in there, so there's not a lot of retrofitting that has to be done and things of that nature. So it should be fairly seamless.
The building is not the only natural fit for the company. Officials say the workforce in the area is primed for the 50 jobs the business plans to eventually bring. And work is already underway to include the future workforce. From a partnership with Big Sandy Community and Technical College, to a plan to start even younger.
Going to the high schools and talking to these kids that maybe won't go to college any other way, but this welding is a very high-paying job, and there's not very many of them that can do that.
Ellswick says it might just take a tank.
It's really nice to have that sort of attention come to Pikeville. Maybe we'll have other companies that do the same thing. See Appalachian Tank here, know its parent company, know it's a very successful business, and want to locate their business here as well.
To show the world what the town has to offer. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Big Sandy Community and Technical College President Dr. Sherry Zelka commented on the new business and the college's planned partnership, saying, quote, "Our students are very hardworking and they deserve such opportunities to thrive right here at home." We are more than a year and a half into the pandemic, and Kentuckians are still having problems with unemployment. Thousands fell victim to fraud last year, and some are still trying to clear up confusion. Susan Shelton, a retired HR manager from Versailles, has spent months worried about a fake claim filed in her name.
You worked in HR for almost 40 years.
Yes.
You understand how unemployment works.
Yeah, most definitely, yes.
If an employee at one of the companies you worked for was trying to get in touch with someone in HR to deal with unemployment, and for 2 weeks they were trying and no one answered, I mean, did that ever happen in the private sector?
That would not happen in the private sector because that HR person would have been terminated.
Tonight at 11, a closer look at the unemployment mess as we try to get answers straight from the Capitol. Well, this data is coming from United Healthcare's 2021 Health of Women and Children report. Let's talk about smoking. Nearly 30% of women in Kentucky smoke. A little more than 15% of pregnant women smoke while they are pregnant. The maternal mortality rate in Kentucky is the highest at nearly 40 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births.
And that statistic is very concerning for the overall health of women and certainly the children that they care for and the children that they're bearing.
Dr. Kirk says women really need to have access to early prenatal care. The report also says teen births declined in Kentucky.
Big changes are on the way for the late week forecast. I'll have the latest timing from Future Views straight ahead.
And how a Christmas gift program helps provide thousands of kids in need a chance to experience the joy of Christmas.